Clark gives you something more than just another stick of gum. Get something more. Get the 3 Footloose flavors from Clark.
Music right there by John Williams from Big Friendly Giant. Broadcasting from Foothill College, this is KFJC, Los Altos Hills, the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show, and Bob and Ray.
I think you'll be interested to hear from a guest who just dropped into the studio. He's a man whose work you've all admired, even if you didn't realize there was a job like his. He's Chesley L. Beamish, who's employed as a voice coach by one of television's top programs.
That's right, I'm a voice coach. I'm hired to assist the actors get the proper meanings into their lines. That's what I am, a voice coach.
Well, sir, how do you manage to capture the real feelings of the people which you characterize so well on your program?
You might say I've led a life of excitement. I guess you might say that.
Well, how do you mean, a life of excitement?
Run over by a train when I was 4. Train just came and ran over me. That's what happened.
What was it like? Weren't you pretty scared?
What was it like, mister? I guess it was like having a train run over you. I guess that's the way you describe it.
And so it's really the fact that you've been through experiences like this that you can act as a speech advisor to the actors you work with. Anything else ever happened to you?
Yeah, I was lost on a hunting party one time. I got caught in quicksand.
Anybody with you?
How's that again?
I say anybody with you.
You mean when I got caught in the quicksand?
That's right.
No, I don't recall anybody being there. There might have been somebody there, I just don't recall.
Forget it. What else can you tell us, Mr. Beamish?
15 years old, fell off a 20-story building.
Land on your feet?
I didn't say that, mister.
Okay, then how did you land?
Well, on my head. That's what they told me.
They? Who's they?
How's that again?
Who told you how you landed?
My mother, my father.
Anybody else tell you?
I didn't need anybody else tell me. I knew it myself.
How did you know?
I guess you might say I had a headache. Yeah, that's it. I had a headache. Yeah.
How's that again?
I said yeah.
There's just one more thing I'd like to ask you. What's the name of the show on which you do your voice coaching?
How's that?
The show you work on.
Oh, Ma Perkins.
This is the city. I work here. I carry a badge. I carry a badge. I carry a badge.
the television theme to Square Pegs. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show, wallowing in the 80s there. We have also Attention Deficit Rock, Cruel to Be Kind, The Tubes doing My Science Project, the song from the movie of the same name. From the Dragnet movie that had Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks in it, we heard the Dragnet March theme, and Bob and Ray doing the TV voice coach.
Rock,
blues,
reggae,
Americana,
pop, hip-hop, soul,
world,
jazz,
funk, etc.
Join Dr. Doug back down the rabbit hole early Tuesday mornings at 2 a.m. or listen to all shows archived and streaming for 2 weeks on kfjc.org.
Fun guy, good show. Dr. Doug. Listen and obey. Well, let's get out of the 80s and go back a couple of decades. This is to The Miracle Worker, and this is music by Lawrence Rosenthal on your source for sound, KFJC. Music right there by John Debney, and that's from a recently released animation feature called Luck. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. And it is time for this week's Cool Secret Place. Each week, KFJC tells you about a place that makes where we live so fun, so unusual, and so unique. Because, you can go anywhere in the world and get the same cup of coffee, the same bag to buy, the same burger to eat. But there are people, places, and things that are right here, right in our own backyard, that make where we live so special. And one cool secret place is the ghost town of Drawbridge. And it's a ghost town because it's not accessible, and it's slowly sinking into the marshes of the San Francisco Bay, so could never really be developed. But this week's cool secret place is another ghostly area along the San Francisco Bay, though this one you can get to. It's the Forgotten Winery of Winehaven near Richmond up in the East Bay. Now, to get there, you take the last exit before crossing the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge on the East Bay side, and Steinmark Drive curls along the bay and just past Point Lottie to the historic Winehaven complex. Now, the ghostly remains of Winehaven are a massive Rhineland-style red stone castle that in the early part of the last century was the largest winery in the world. So let's step back to that historic moment in our history, the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. The quake not only destroyed just buildings in San Francisco, Stanford, and San Jose, it also spilled millions of gallons of wine. Believe it or not, San Francisco was the main base of business for the California Wine Association, which is a cooperative among 7 wineries, and they had warehouses all across the city. Now, the one important survivor of that quake was the Italian Swiss Colony building. Now, this is a large 3-story brick warehouse that was built in 1903. Now, during the fires that followed the 1906 earthquake, the employees flooded the warehouse roof with water from the spring on the property for 3 whole days and saved it from the fire. Now, the building still stands today at 1265 Battery Street. It's one of the finest examples of industrial warehouse architecture. So as part of the warehouse recovery effort, the California Wine Association purchased 48 acres on the north side of Point Mulati in East Bay and constructed a massive red brick winery building with parapets and towers and called it Winehaven. They also built shipping buildings, a power generator, and hotel for workers, and eventually cottages and a school. Now, the winery produced wines from over 40 vineyards, and at its peak, it employed 120 people full-time and over 400 seasonal workers. Now, this location was ideal because the railroad was right there, and they could put the wine on the railroad to send it back east, and the point also provided a deep water access for shipping, so they could ship it around the world. And also, because where they were, it is also access for shipping up the Sacramento River. And talk about shipping. Wow. Winehaven was shipping 500,000 gallons of wine a month. It could crush 25,000 tons of grapes in a single crushing, and they had a cooperage for 10 million gallons of wine and over 3,000 vats for initial aging. Now, the largest vat was over 58 feet in diameter and held a capacity of 25,000 gallons. Now, just for reference, some of the Sonoma wineries produce less than 10,000 gallons a year. And here's another tip about volume. 7,000 gallons works out to about 3,000 cases of wine. So Winehaven was so huge that it could produce 8 million gallons. And they had more than 15 million wine bottles at Winehaven. Now, it is important to ship good California wine by the bottle, which is why they shipped it by the bottle, because if they shipped bulk, the wine could be blended with inferior rot gut on the East Coast by wine merchants there and then sold as California blend. Now, the largest wine-producing location in the world was closed in 1920 with the Volstead Act, which we know imposed prohibition that outlawed alcohol. Now, the winery was forced to dump 250,000 gallons of wine into the bay. Now, sure, they attempted to keep going by producing grape juice, but ultimately the association dissolved and the winery was empty until 1941. So it was the Second World War that got the Navy interested in Winehaven. In 1941, they bought the land and constructed 20 large concrete tanks on the hillside above to use as a fuel depot. A new pier was built. The old Winehaven Hotel was pressed into service as barracks and a mess hall, and the Winehaven workers' houses were renovated for use by Navy personnel. Now, the Navy continued to operate the fuel depot during the Korean War and the Vietnam War, and it was decommissioned in 1995. Now, despite the switch from wine to fuel, the historic district remains virtually unaltered from its day as a winery. There are 35 buildings that were built between 1907 and 1919, and the entire 41-acre area is recognized as the Winehaven Historical District. Now, the secret part of this is that it's tucked away, and it's only accessible by a narrow road from the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge Toll Plaza exit, and it's a largely undeveloped place in our overdeveloped region. Now, there was an attempt to develop this land, and the city of Richmond, the real estate developer, the local tribes, and the Save Winehaven groups all had disagreements and multiple lawsuits. In 2025, the East Bay Regional Park District bought 82 acres at Point Melody, which includes Winehaven. Also, Native American sacred sites, a historic Chinese fishing village, and miles of shoreland. But so far, only a trail extension project has been started to link the park to the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. Now, the development and restoration are expected to slowly progress for the next number of years. Now, currently, the buildings are shuttered and fenced off, though the road takes you right by the houses and the Winehaven Castle. But even though inaccessible, Winehaven is a beautiful, massive industrial structure. The park and the shoreline provide great views of the Richmond Bridge, Mount Tam, and Marin, and the parking is ample and free, though don't leave anything valuable in your car. California wines have been around for a very long time, though the timeline for California wines usually begins in 1976. 1976 at the so-called Judgment of Paris. Now, then, to celebrate the bicentennial of the United States, a wine competition was organized in Paris, and 2 blind taste testings of wine occurred, the first for top-quality Chardonnays and the other for red wines. Both of the taste tests were won by Napa Valley Vineyards, Stag's Leap and Chateau Montelena. Now, the event changed the perception of California wines, and now they didn't have to throw all their grapes together in a mass produce and pump out jug wine as they did in Winehaven. You know, the movie Bottle Shock that starred Alan Rickman and Chris Pine is based on that wine competition, the Paris Judgment of Paris. Now, although wine is made in almost every state of the Union, 90% of the American wine comes from California. Back in the early 20th century, most of that wine came through Winehaven. Like the ghost town of Drawbridge, it's an important part of our local past history, but unlike Drawbridge, you can visit and admire the buildings and the view. You can go to the East Bay Park, ebparks.org, ebparks.org, and look up Point Molate, Molate, and find out more. Do you have a cool secret place? It doesn't have to be wine-soaked. But we always encourage you to get out and explore your neighborhoods, where you work, where you play, where you visit. Discover new and interesting places, and then share those with your friends. If you'd like to share them with the listeners, you can write me an email, robert@kfjc.org. That's robert@kfjc.org. That's my email address, so if you do send me an email, make sure you put KFJC listener or cool secret place in the subject title so you don't get thrown away with the spam. There's also a Facebook group page for the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. Put your cool secret place there. You know, cool secret places, it's when you start looking at all the things that the Bay Area has, all the really interesting people and places that are tucked away in the neighborhoods. You know, it's really great to live here, isn't it? The cool secret places. Well, coming up next is the television mystery theme of the week, but I do need to take some time to set up. So let's play this. This is Aaron Aronson. KFJC is your source for sound.
Chaperone can get our number. The world's in slumber. Let's misbehave. There's something wild about you, child, that's so contagious. Let's be outrageous. Let's misbehave. When Adam won Eve's hand, he wouldn't stand for teasing. He didn't care about those apples out of season. They say the spring means just one thing to little lovebirds. We're not above birds. Let's misbehave.
Let's misbehave. Let's misbehave.
If you'd be just so sweet and only meet your fate, dear, 'twould be the great event of 1928, dear.
Let's misbehave.
This is 89.7 KFJC, and it is 10:30 or a reasonable facsimile thereof. So, time to play the game we all know and love so well. That's right. Time for the KFJC television mystery theme of the week. Each week, we call on you to call on us at 650-941-2500 and identify a good, bad, or just flat-out ugly television theme. Something you've heard about, something you've only ever heard here. This was a television show that started in 2022, and it's still on. The star of the show was in Sid and Nancy, The Fifth Element, Batman Begins, Oppenheimer, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Co-star was in Dunkirk, Capone, and Mary Queen of Scots. Yet another was in Under the Cherry Moon, Four Weddings and a Funeral, Gosford Park, Nowhere Boy, The Other Boleyn Girl, and Confessions of a Shopaholic. Yet another is in The Thursday Murder Club, G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Evita, Tomorrow Never Dies, The Haunted Honeymoon, Brazil, and Something Wicked This Way Comes. And the last one we'll talk about is in The Matrix, Lord of the Rings, V for Vendetta, Captain America, Wolfman, and Hacksaw Ridge. So if you recognize this week's KFJC television mystery theme of the week, 650-941-2500 is the number. Put on your thinking caps, clean the wax out of your ears, program your speed dial or your personal electronic assistant, and let's see if you listen to what you watch in your course for sound, KFJC.
Surrounded by losers, misfits and boozers, hanging by your fingernails. You made one mistake, you got burned at the stake. You're finished, you're foolish, you failed. There's always a hope on this slippery slope. Somewhere a ghost of a chance to get back in the game and burn up your shame and dance with the big boys again. Yes, a strange game. Strange game. Such a shame. Yes, a strange game. You got to carry the blame in this strange game. You're out on a limb and you're trying to get in. It's a strange game. You pile up the corpses, exhausted your sources, living right under a cloud. The odds are against you, the gods haven't blessed you. You better get back on the rails. Drill down on the data, keep pushing the paper, the depths dripping down on the walls. It's 1,000,000 to 1, there's a place in the sun to dance with the big boys again. It's a strange game. Strange. You don't even know my real name. It's a strange game. You got to carry a blame in this strange game. You're out on a limb trying hard to get in. It's a strange gang.
Music right there from a really great documentary. The documentary is called Trinity and Beyond, and it is subtitled The Atomic Bomb Movie. It's all sorts of great footage for the testing that they did in Bikini and elsewhere for the atomic bomb. Great score. John Morgan and William Stromberg. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. What was this week's KFJC Television Mystery Theme of the Week? This week's KFJC Television Mystery Theme of the Week was the theme to Slow Horses. Slow Horses is on a streaming service and started in 2022, and it's still going now. Gary Oldman is the star of it. I didn't realize he was Sid in Sid and Nancy. Did you know that? Sid and Nancy, Fifth Element, Batman Begins, Oppenheimer, Harry Potter, actually a couple of Harry Potter movies. And Jack Lowden was in Dunkirk, Capone, Mary Queen of Scots. Kirsten Scott Thomas was in Under the Cherry Moon. Not many people can say that, can they? Four Weddings and a Funeral, Gosford Park, Nowhere Boy, about John Lennon as a teenager, The Other Boleyn Girl, and Confessions of a Shopaholic. Jonathan Pryce was in the Thursday Murder Club, G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Evita, Tomorrow Never Dies, Haunted Honeymoon, Brazil, and Something Wicked This Way Comes. And last we'll talk about is Hugo Weaving, who's in The Matrix, Lord of the Rings, V for Vendetta, Captain America, Wolfman, Hacksaw Ridge. So Slow Horses. That theme was sung by Mick Jagger, actually. So who correctly identified this week's KFJC Television Mystery Theme of the Week? We have Ken and Jerry from Willow Glen, John from Los Gatos, Cindy and Mark from Sunnyvale, Jimmy from Cupertino, Jeff and Cheryl from Seattle, Tom and Shawnee from Willow Glen, Lindsay and Brian from San Jose, Ed in Campbell, Danny and Denise in Belleville, Lee in Cambria,